Yeah, I definitely have to pause the music to hear if the Pocket 2 is recording. Anyway, hello, Zeospantera. And I didn't change the desk mat. Screw it, we're going with it. I don't know if the quintessential quintuplets is even available anymore. We're here with the Piety, or the Schiit Magni Pi, but it's not actually shit. Well, they built it, but it's like they can't sell it because this other company that is created by the guy who used to do the mass drop audiophile thing started Niche, and then he heard it and he's like, I have to have it, and there's a whole thing, and there's a whole thing. I'm pausing the music now so my brain will actually function. So this looks like a Schiit Magni because that's what it looks like, but the insides are different. I'm different on the inside. It's actually made of very rare parts, and I forget which exactual transistors they were talking about. Apos had a limited run of them. They're all gone on Apos, but I'll link there anyway since I have an affiliate link. But they're still being sold directly from Niche Sound. So niche, is that what you're going with? Like it's a niche audio market sort of thing? Anyway, so you can read the whole story here. I don't have to repeat it to you. But long story short, transistors, tube sound, solid state, $175. So this was designed originally by Schiit, but they couldn't get the parts to make a mass run. And so that guy heard it and he's like, you know what? I'll sell a handful of these, 1,000. And he had 1,000, which Schiit would have sold them out like that. So they're selling on different sites for a little bit more using very rare parts. And the goals, #goals, was to make it so that it sounds tube-like. And we're almost there with this. As far as a solid state tube, this is pretty fucking close. It has basically the same accoutrement as every other Schiit thing. So it says Schiit, says Magni, says Pi. It's got a knob. It's got a 1/4 inch. Because Schiit's fucking allergic to 4.4. It's got your 14 to 16 volt AC with a big fucking transformer. Power switch in the back. Still hate that. It's got an output. It's got a high and low gain switch on the back. And it's got your input. I think I'm feeding it from a Geshelli Labs DAC. Geshelli Labs DAC, linked in the description. So, put these over here. I needed IEMs, tips for my IEMs. So, after all of this, what comes out of it? I'd say the reason this is popular and the people who have been like, you got to do this shit, Piety. You got to do the Piety. You got to do the Piety. Is because those people, certified bass heads. We're all certified bass heads. Of course I'm going to fucking love it. I'm a certified bass head. Well, speak of the devil. Jeremy Soul's Dragonborn from the Elder Scrolls. The first track on the soundtrack. And it's just these big, deep notes of like, woo, woo, woo. It definitely sounds bigger and meatier than this little tiny thing in front of me. I'll take out the Tigerism Octaves, which is what I was listening to them on. If you missed my review of the Tigerism Octaves, it's because you're not on the Inner Fetish channel. Check that shit out. Kind of want to hear the rest of that song on there. Let's switch to a different headphone. I brought out some boys I should use more often. This guy's here. These are the Harmonic Zeus Elite, which everyone loves, using my purple Asylum cable with adapters on it. And these have been sitting on the wall there, just staring at me every time, every review. It's the Mackie MC 450s. I think these are the 450s. They don't actually say anywhere on them what they are. But they're the open back studio monitors that Mackie makes. And they kind of look weird. And then I put them on, and they kind of sound amazing every time I use these damn things. So let's unplug this adapter for a second. So now with studio monitor headphones like I'm wearing now, I know what to expect. It should be pretty smooth and neutral and not exaggeratory in any way. And if I plug them into another amp, I can compare and contrast. But on the Piety, let's change that track. It definitely sounds like we're getting into that, like, I just recently reviewed the Rose Technics RT5000, which the selling point on the Rose Technics RT5000 was this sounds warm and soft and super duper class A, and it's got like 10 op amps in it, and it sort of sounds like tube-ish. So then you move over to this, which that is 600, but that's a DAC amp. This is just an amp and rare and going to be sold out at some point. You're never going to see it again. In fact, patrons, if you're watching this, because patrons get to see all the videos first, if this exists and you're interested in something that adds like a tube-ish sound or a very warm sound to solid state for under $200, you're gonna buy them all. They're gonna be gone. Say goodbye. If you're public and you're watching this, say goodbye, because patrons have the first dibs. And this was loaned to me by a patron, actually, because I heard of it and I heard it was a limited run. And I'm like, I'm not gonna bother because it's gonna be gone immediately. And he's like, no, you take mine and you do it. Well, here I am. I haven't... High gain, I find, is a little bit harsher. Like, I feel like the low gain, and you make it louder, it's still as soft and smooth, but high gain gets that, like... It, like, gets up in there. I'm not sure if it's just these few headphones I'm testing with. Soundgarden, by the way. So yeah, I think, and I guess what I really should be talking about is they have a bigger version of this. So niche, get it? Like niche. They have the Piety, the Dasha 3FN, the Jar 600, which blows my mind. There's an $850 revision of the fucking HD 600s. Like, Jupiter Audio Research. Like, what? I want to hear these. How could you... You're putting a lot of cash on a modified HD 600, boy. Due to the labor-intensive nature of these headphones, only a few pairs will be available each month. If you see out of stock, please check available next month. Click here for list. What list of what? Oh, God. No. Don't open anything. And anyway, the last thing is the Piety Maximus, which is a much bigger version of this, based on, I think, the Jotunheim? Or whatever what is their middle ground one called? I forget Schiit stuff. I forget how Schiit stuff works. Yeah. Anyway, so this is basically an even more powerful version of this. And I could see, this is the same reason why I tuned my fucking Eris headphone to be what it is. I'm sure it's not out yet, but it is what it is because I know there's a market for it. I know there's a market for people who just want it to sound luscious and big and warm and bassy and... God, look at the size of that transistor in there. Actually, I was talking about the Transformer. Transformer Corporation. The MCI Transformer Corporation. So yeah, all the stuff they're doing in it is still more of those rare parts. The parts you can't get. Which sucks. Because it's 2024. There's no reason a thing should run out unless we've made it extinct and we're making, like, I don't know, dodo burgers. Like, dodo burgers I could see not being around for very long. But if it's a transistor and the factory burns down, you just build another factory. Or you copy the original transistor. It can't be hard to make them, like, almost perfect. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be almost perfect. Whoa. That was definitely... So I could tell it was on high gain without looking or feeling. Because it was just sharper. So I feel like high gain on this is not as good. So you're going to be able to have to run on low gain. Luckily for you, it is pretty fucking powerful on low gain. Let's get out of here with the elites. There is a smoothness to the sound that is unexpected from a Magni. How about that? I've heard every fucking revision of the Magni from the dawn of time. I don't own any still. They're all gone. I'd get them, I'd review them, I'd sell them, and it's just like, all right, shit stuff, it's fine. I keep more SMSL stuff than shit stuff, and I should love shit stuff because it's American made, and this is American made in California. Handmade even, because it's such small runs. And this sounds more characteristic of what I'd want. If you're selling small number stuff, small, like you got 1,000 units or something, you're making in America, you're keeping the price low, make it warm. Like that Rolls brand that's on Amazon. Rolls. R-O-L-L-S, I think. They've got the weirdest looking shit, and they've got a 24 devices, all made in America. Never heard any. I heard like 2 of them. But they always sound unique and warm, and they stand out against the, Chinese SMSL and cheaper topping stuff that's just flat and neutral. Very clean measuring, very clean sounding. But there's no soul to it. And this little Piety, it got some soul, bruh. It almost feels like the perfect companion to vinyl, but without needing to go vinyl. Like if you have vinyl rips that are digital, which makes you a bad person, but not in my eyes, and think you're a lovely person in my eyes, listen to it on the Piety. It certainly adds something to the sound that is not just like, oh, you can't get an equalizer, a fucking 12 band or something, and adjust it and be like, well, now it sounds like the Piety. There's more to it than that. There's a depth to it. There's a bass response that's not just like bass up. It is wholeheartedly more bassy overall. What is this now? I can't tell the song. Megumin's face is in the way. Monster Mesame. Doom Nemo Hakakuki. I don't know which Monster Mesame this is. It might be the one with the doctor, which was a fantastic show. That was like season 2 or something. Links to the Fosse LC30, if it's available. Yeah, this feels like you've got where I used to have it there forever. It feels like you've got the bass boost button on the IFI Zendak super glued on. But it's more than that. It's like that plus a little bit of that 3D sound. That's where we're at with this. It's got a modified sound in an analog form factor that I love. In fact, I was going to go up and get my Eris collaboration like tuning sample, but I feel like the bass would make me shit my pants. And I don't want to clean my pants. I like my pants. Zeos, link to your lovely, comfortable Goodfellow & Co. pants in the description. Thank you. You guys got to click something and buy something. If you can't buy this, at least the pants. At least the pants. Okay, right there. Sold. So I have the soundtrack for something called Transistor. I think it was a game. And everything is hummed. It's hummed or instrumental or hummed. And this is Sandbox hummed. And it is just the warmest, like I could feel the sun and the sand. And it's just this whiff about it that, like, I've heard all these songs, and it's just on the Piety, on the Elites. It's just this beautiful blend. Just, Either my job's going to get harder or my job is going to get easier in the future. Those are the only 2 options. It doesn't stay the same ever. Harder would entail that shit like this comes out. Get it? Shit like this. And it adds flavors. And then you get another DAC that adds a flavor. And then you feed... I was going to feed the Rose Technics 5000 into this as the DAC. But that, with the 10 fucking op amps, runs that through the circuitry and softens that. So if I had that on this, like the Gishelli Labs is pretty fucking neutral. But if I had the RT5000, which was soft, onto this, which is soft, onto these, which is kind of actually more focused on highs. But then if I put this onto something else that was soft, it'd be too soft. And it's like... It's no longer going to be, the hard version of the future is everything has a sound signature and you have to mix and match. It's like going to an ice cream store and they cover the ice cream and it's 31 flavors. And you're like, I'd want a half a scoop of 4 and a whole scoop of 13 and a whole scoop of 22. And you have no idea what the fucking flavors are. You just got banana custard and mint and strawberry explosion. And they mixed them together, and it's like, do I like this? Current audio and past audio has just been get the DAC sorted out, make sure it's clean and neutral, and you're done. And then you get a decently powerful amplifier. Didn't really matter what the sound signature was like, because your real signature comes from the headphone. So that was just pick the size of the cup, put your ice cream in it, you're done. That's easy mode. We're getting to a point now where we're starting to fuck with the sound signatures in every section where I can actually hear a DAC is different, where I can actually hear this amp versus this amp is blatant differences. We've stopped sprinkling these little crumbles of flavor onto our audio equipment, and we started unscrewing the top and just pouring, which makes my job either harder or easier. It's actually better for me if I look at one item and tell you what this one item is doing, and then you decide what the mixture of flavors is. If I have to tell you exactly how it works with this, and then on top of this, and you add this wire, with not this wire, this is a great wire, this is a purple Asylum cable, but I've got a Skedra cable up there that he sent me that is specifically to tune the sound going through the cable because there's a resistive load. And it's like, well, now I'm fucked. I don't even think they could make a Google spreadsheet that could tell me how a thing would sound with A DAC and B cables and C amp and D cables and then E headphones with F pads. And by the way, you're listening to the music, but we're actually going to run this through a processing. Say, there's too many fucking setups. I could never tell you what that would sound like. The Piety on its own is like a 1.1 amplifier. If setting up your system was math, you'd have a 1 plus a 1 plus a 1.1 plus a 1 plus a 1. And all of a sudden, you got this 0.1 that's just floating around, and it's not a subwoofer. And it's like, is that what's adding that little bit extra? Yes, this adds a little bit extra. Just a little fucking dollop of like, ooh, oh, that's nice. I'm afraid to compile more things onto it. Like when I did the demo of the I did this original sound demo of the Tungstens, and I had it on a speaker amp being tube pre'd through the FX360 fucking from Black Ice, and then I had to pick a DAC that I was like, well, if I go with this DAC, it's a little bit softer DAC. Like, there's too many compounding things, too many flavors that I don't understand. So let's just concern ourselves with this. Do you like this flavor? Giving it a DAC you've listened to all the time and headphones you listen to all the time? Less so these, but more these? Yes. That's the whole fucking videos come down to, do I like this? Yes. Does it suck that there's only 1,000 of them? Fuck yes. That's a double yes. I put a Magni background on, though. I save these. Because it's like, I have actually another one of her. Here, wait. You're going to see it at some point. Look, I've got one with her eyes open. And you're going to be like, Zeos, didn't you use this wallpaper? And I'm going to be like, no. Her eyes were closed on this one. Then one day, I'll get the other niche amp, and her eyes will be open. And you're going to be like, aha, my eyes are open too. Anyway, this is way too long a video for a single Magni under $200 amp. Like, an Atom 2 versus this. An Atom 2 is super fucking clean. And it's like $130. If you had both, you would be set for your affordable solid state. You just move this over, slap an Atom 2 here. You'd have perfectly linear. You know exactly how your headphones are supposed to sound. Then you'd unplug it from there. You plug it into the Piety, and it'd be like, oh, now there's this. And whether you want A or B, you want that clean JDS Labs sound with a ton of power or this, it's up to how you wake up in the morning. You feel like having coffee or tea this morning. You want eggs or pancakes this morning. You want to sleep naked or in a winter coat. I can't make those decisions for you. I actually can. Sleep naked. It's the best way to do it. On a furry fucking bedspread. That's what I have. Literally, it was designed to be like a comforter you put on top of you. And then I'm like, nah, bitch. Lay it out. And you think it's going to be super hot and sweaty because it's like fur. But it's not. Because the air can go under it. It's fantastic. Anyway, enough talking about me being naked. Magni wallpaper in the description. I'll link this on Apos just so you can click it, and it gives me an affiliate link for that. And if you can't buy it there, buy something else. Maybe buy the DAC for this on Apos. Links to this directly at Niche Sound. I think it was Niche Sound. They have a $2,700 thing here. I don't know what this is. It looks cool though. It's got like a weird brick. It's a weird. Are you DAC amp combo? Yeah, your DAC amp combo. At least it's a combo for $2,700. But yes, links to the Tigerism octaves also on Apos, by the way, because they actually sell IMs now. And then these, and then I'll see if these are still available. These are some of my favorites Way better than, like, Audio-Technica M50s. M50s can suck my ass. Go with something from Magni. I'm done, you're done, we're done. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.